Hey folks, thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to open another ferment for you. And it's going to be a ferment where I've made a few changes. So I'm going to show you and explain to you these changes I've made, why I've made them. And in addition to that, you're going to see an absolutely beautiful, beautiful pepper puree. All right, let's head into the test kitchen and I'll see you in just a minute. Hey folks, this is Phil from Alabama Hot Sauce. That's alabamahotsauce.com on the web. Today I'm going to once again show you the opening of a new puree. I was down here today to get things in order for a sauce I'm going to blend tomorrow. So I opened the pepper that I was going to use for it. And this pepper is the first production run I've made with a slightly different process between the fermentation and the blending stage. And so I wanted to tell you about that. So I opened up this ferment, or this puree is what it is, and this stuff looked absolutely beautiful. So I thought I would show it to you and talk to you a little bit about what I've done here and what's different about this particular ferment. Now, I'm going to take the top off. And the first thing I want you to see is absolutely how beautiful this stuff is. This puree is simply amazing. This is 40 pounds of orange habanero peppers. I fermented it to make a sauce that's brand new to me. So I opened it today to see if it was in order and ready to be blended. It absolutely is. In addition to that, this puree, or this ferment, is using some techniques that I have been playing around with in my little mad science lab here, that I've been considering, I've been reading about, I've been researching, and this is the first time I've done it on a 5-gallon scale, which will produce 130 plus bottles. Matter of fact, way more than 130 plus bottles. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about it, and in addition, let you see this absolutely beautiful puree. Most of you have seen previous ferment openings I've done. I ferment peppers, and I open and inspect them on a regular basis. I do something most people say you can't do, but I regularly open my ferments every couple of weeks, and I check the pH. I check the pH of the actual peppers by slushing them and measuring the pH. I check the smell, I check the odor, I check the saline content. I then typically drain a good bit of the lactic acid that's been created in this ferment out. I then reseal the pepper mash and I set it back for more fermenting. The draining the lactic acid is done because I want to increasingly, A, reduce the salt content, and B, I want to end up with a much, much firmer paste-like ferment. You can only do that once the peppers themselves start to reach equilibrium with the solution in the barrel. It happens pretty quick, but that's my reason for draining that. The result is, if you look at some of my other ferment openings, you will see really, really thick pepper ferments. Now, that thick pepper ferment ends up going in a process where it is further ground, further liquefied, or acidified actually, as it gets ready to go into the blending for the sauce. What I've been experimenting with is the concept of liquefying my sauce during the aging process. Now, I do that for two reasons. I am intensely interested in reducing separation in my sauce. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have a tabletop video coming up where I sit with a couple of sauces some people have sent me in exchange for some of mine, where I talk about this whole issue of separation. And while most people say, oh, just shaking it is enough, I don't really believe so. So I employ various techniques in my process to help my sauces stay homogeneous, stay emulsified, so they don't separate. And I'm quite successful at it. Now, the techniques that I use are the closest I can come to homogenization, which is what I'm calling progressive homogenization. It's done with a blender, but it results in blending under pretty high pressure and pretty high speed my sauces once they are blended and ready to go for about an hour. And I progressively move sauce out of the blending container into the blender. I run it for 10 or 15 minutes. I pour it back. I take more out, so I'm completely reblending and reblending and reblending that same sauce until it gets as close as it can get in my process to being homogenized. Now, it would not really qualify for homogenization, but I will tell you the particle sizes are very, very much the same size. So that's one of the techniques I use. The other technique I use is using emulsifiers and homogenizers, whether it be mustard in some cases or xanthan gum in some cases. Now, I've been doing a lot of reading on some scholarly research from Louisiana University. Now, at the University of Louisiana, they had a graduate student who wrote a paper about the importance of pectin in preventing separation in hot sauces. Now, all fruits have pectin in them to one degree or another. But what interested me most about this research is the discussion about the damage that's done to the pectin that's naturally in peppers and tomatoes in the hours and few days before the pH drops down below 4.2 or 4.0, while there's still a moderate pH. His testing revealed that pectin is damaged at that pH between about 4.4 and 8.0. And the damage of that pectin, once the pepper is then used to make a sauce, eliminates the natural characteristic of that sauce to homogenize. So, I did some experimentation on how I could begin my ferment from the very first minute the peppers are ground with low acid. Now, to do that, it means that I have to acidify my pepper mash immediately after I grind it before I set it up to ferment. And I've done a lot of experimentation in my little lab here. I have tried varying degrees of acidifiers, citric acid, mustard, vinegar, various levels of vinegar. And this particular puree that you see right here, this puree, immediately after it was ground, was complemented with the addition of 6% distilled vinegar. So, the moment I ground this, I put in 6% distilled vinegar, which immediately lowers the pH of the contents of this barrel, hopefully down to a level, and I did measure it, that will prevent moderate or neutral acid levels from damaging the natural pectin in the pepper. I wanted to preserve the pectin in this pepper as one more step in helping me keep my sauces from separating and helping keep them homogenized. So, now, the process would have been, I would grind the peppers, I would add the vinegar. In addition to that, I elevated the amount of salt I would have typically used for this blend. Typically, this would have been done at 4% because it's a very thin wall pepper. This is orange habanero. But I elevated that pepper level to about 9%. So this was fermented with 9% saline, 7% acetic acid or vinegar. I then handled it like I did every other ferment that I have in my shop. The difference is I opened this after 24 hours. And when I did, I took the pH, and the pH was 4.0. So that's down there at that level. And I'm assuming it was there immediately after I poured the vinegar in, because very little fermentation had begun. But that's down at that level where this scholarly work from Louisiana says it will prevent the damage to pectin that's naturally in the pepper. So I'm hoping when this is blended to get the advantage of that pectin along with the other methods I use. Now, in addition to that, this was processed just like every other ferment I do. It was inspected after about a week. The pH was checked. I tasted it a little bit. I drained out the fluid. So this was processed so that it would become a firm, wet ferment, just like I'm accustomed to. Now, after its fermentation period, which in the case of this product was 21 days, I opened it up, I pureed it, meaning I ground it, and then I went ahead and added 15% vinegar. So the sauce is going to end up with a little more than 15% vinegar, but it goes into the blending process already acidified with that 15% blending. So there it is, folks. That's the little experiment I'm doing. This sauce is going to be a brand new recipe that I call Puree pineapple. It's going to be delicious. I've tested it a number of times. It's going to be a very, very simple ferment, which I think is really going to make it great. As you all know from hearing me on other videos, and those of you who have talked to me directly and looked at my bottles, simple is better. I'm not one of these people that puts 10 different spices in it and 9 different kinds of pepper and 3 different kinds of fluid in it. I like to keep things as simple as possible. I always strive for the fewest possible ingredients that deliver the taste that I want. So anyway, folks, thank you for joining me. I'm glad you were able to see this absolutely beautiful experiment I'm making. But most important, it's just simply a beautiful puree. And this is going to be very, very fun to blend tomorrow. When I opened this up earlier today to take a look at it, it was exactly what I'd hoped for. The consistency is exactly what I wanted. And I thought, I got to show my friends this. Again, thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, take a moment to subscribe to my channel. In addition to that, leave me a comment. And of course, we always would like it if you would give me a thumbs up and ring that bell so YouTube will know to direct you to my channel every time I release a new video. Thank you, folks, and I'll see you next time. That went off too well. That is not supposed to happen that easy. Man, I'm telling you what, this stuff just looks too good. Hope the folks on the screen are not mad that I didn't taste this stuff, but I'm going to be honest with you. When I first opened it, I tasted three times. I tasted a couple more sauces this morning, so I've had about all I wanted for today. I know what it tastes like. It tastes great. Anyway, blending tomorrow. Puree pineapple. Going to be wonderful. Folks, this is Phil from Alabama Hot Sauce, alabamahotsauce.com on the web. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've left 2 suggestions on the screen of other videos I think you might like. In addition to that, click the logo and subscribe to my channel if you've not already. Again, thank you very much for joining.